Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. You're watching EmoNews every moment online. In tonight's headlines, Dominica's reggae legend, Nacio Fontaine, speaks out on the destruction of Dominica's environment. Ray Astar Stroke Awareness School campaign begins at Raymond Astafan's alma mater. Grenada, St. Vincent leaders meet to boost partnership and cooperation. U.S. to impose 25% tariff on countries doing business with Iran, Trump says. Thousands of New York City nurses walk off the job in city's largest ever strike. And Cricket West Indies announces squad for T20 series against Afghanistan. Details of these stories and more coming up next. Stay with us.
Blast Gaming presents its biggest job whatever. Blast Mystery Progressive. I'm so excited. I can't hide it. The new Blast Jackpot rising. And I like it. It going up and up and up and up and up. Blast up and up and up and up and up and up.
Play selected games to win in the Blast Mystery Progressive. Pick until you match 3 gems and win one of the 5 cash jackpots. Or you can blast up with the Mystery Progressive jackpot.
It going up and up and up and up and up. Blast up and up and up. Blast Gaming.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis, and this is a news broadcast for the 13th of January 2026. In local news this evening, as carnival opening activities get underway this weekend in the town of Portsmouth, concerns have been raised by some residents who feel the town has become increasingly unstable due to a high rise in gun-related violence. In response, Mayor of Portsmouth, Kerry Brady Prince, has assured the public that measures are in place to ensure a safe and enjoyable carnival opening. The mayor says the Portsmouth Town Council has been working closely with law enforcement and other stakeholders to strengthen security and maintain public order throughout the celebrations.
Hi everyone, I am Kerry Brady Prince and I'm the mayor of the town of Portsmouth. I just want to encourage everyone who loves the Portsy Town Mass. I understand your concerns and the fears attached, felt due to the recent gun violence in Portsmouth, the increasing gun violence. And I just want to reiterate that violence has no place in our community and it will never define who we are as a people. We are Portsmouth. And as mayor, I want to ensure you that we are working closely with law enforcement, the Dominica Police Force, community leaders, and the event organizers to strengthen the safety measures and ensure that everyone can participate and celebrate with confidence. Portsmouth has always been a town of culture, unity, resilience, and peace, and we will not allow fear to silence our joy or erase our traditions. So, Portsy Town Mass is about life, it's about music and togetherness, and together we will move forward safely. So I invite you to come on down to Portsmouth this Saturday from 3 p.m. and just have some fun with us as we celebrate Portsy Town Mass 2026. See you there.
The mayor also encouraged the public to remain vigilant, cooperate with security personnel, and celebrate responsibly as carnival activities begin in the north of the island. The Ray Astor Foundation proudly launched its Stroke Awareness School campaign with a deeply meaningful No Visit to St. Mary's Academy, where it all began for Raymond Astafan, in whose memory the foundation was established. Beginning the campaign at St. Mary's Academy was not just symbolic, but profoundly personal for the foundation and for all who knew and loved him. St. Mary's Academy played a significant role in shaping Raymond's life, values, friendships, and dreams. Returning to the school to educate its students on the dangers and warning signs of stroke felt like a heartfelt tribute to his legacy. The Ray Astor Foundation has previously donated to St. Mary's Academy, and launching the campaign there reaffirms its ongoing commitment to the students, families, and community that helped shape the man Raymond became. Starting this campaign at Raymond School is deeply emotional for me, said Jennifer Astafan, Raymond's mother. This is where his dreams began, and it means everything to see his memory living on through education and community service. If this campaign helps even one family recognize the signs of stroke and seek help in time, then Raymond's legacy continues to save lives. End of quote. During the visit, students and teachers participated in an engaging and interactive session focused on understanding what stroke is, recognizing the early warning signs, knowing the major risk factors, and appreciating why quick medical attention can save lives. The campaign emphasized that awareness and early response are powerful tools in protecting loved ones and reducing the devastating impact of stroke. The Stroke Awareness School campaign will continue across Dominica over the coming weeks. Confirmed upcoming visits to include Convent High School, Pierre Charles Secondary School, and Portsmouth Secondary School as the foundation expands its outreach to students, teachers, and families across the island. The Ray Astor Foundation remains dedicated to promoting health education, strengthening community awareness, and ensuring that more people in Dominica are able to recognize the signs of stroke and act quickly when it matters most. And one of the most talked about stories in Dominica, as Dominican reggae artist Nacio Fontaine has added his voice in opposition to the ongoing activities at the Boash. Speaking to EmoNews, Nacio spoke passionately about his reasons for being in opposition to the project.
Nacio is a reggae artist, one of Dominica's best, and today he's going to tell us why he chose to stand, why he chose to be here this morning. So we are going to just give him an opportunity to tell us all about his standing up.
Yeah, well, the situation here is we are here in Dewash. Like the cameras can pick up the damages that they have been doing to our country. They're destroying the rivers. They are planning to finish up the mountains. We have foreigners here. We have CR5, China company. We have MMC. And everybody's aim is to destroy. God destroy, me see them a destroy, because he's not have no development. It's just pure destruction. I am calling on the government of Dominica. Every one of you need to understand that this thing has to stop. We need to stop it right now. And Dominicans, you need to stand up. And you have to stand up for your country. We don't ask you to stand up for politics. We don't ask you to stand up for church. We don't ask you to stand up for anything. We're asking you to stand up for your country. It gave us water, food, air, peace, the animals of the forest and the fishes of the river. Now we're going to stand there and let people destroy it? They can say this is the place where them get the best material. We're saying this is the place we have the best rivers, our water tables. All right? If we have to destroy our country to build a friggin' airport, then it's not worth it. That is my opinion. And that is the opinion of many Dominicans. We need to stand up, and we're going to stand up. I want every government member and minister to know that we here, brother. We have a right to speak. We have a right to stand. We have a right to protest. Because this is a shame to see that people would have voted to destroy a mountain that shelters our rivers. And the people downstream are screaming out, the rivers are eating them. The rivers is dirty, silt and everything. Fish is perishing. What we going to do? Stand up, talk, go on radio every day?
Meanwhile, government officials, including representatives from the Ministry of Environment and the Forestry Division, held a press briefing today to address mitigation measures at the Deboche excavation site. During the briefing, Minister for the Environment, Cozier Frederick, outlined steps being taken to minimize environmental impact and ensure compliance with established regulations.
So our response to the concerns is to connect with the developer and to have them to understand that there are scientifically proven methods of keeping this space intact while we do the quarrying process. The advice from the Division of Forestry is very, very important in this process, because we are on the borders of a national park, and also we are bordered by a major river, and on the other side of the river we have an indigenous community, and we also have residents downstream. So we're taking this intervention very, very seriously. One of the things we're mindful of is that the fact remains that this area has the best quality material that is needed for moving the project forward. The assessments have been done, and this comes from the previous intervention in 1979, when this place was quarried to resurface parts of the Douglas Charles Airport. We are mindful that when we do interventions like this, when there's quarrying, not to be confused with mining, by the way, when there's quarrying done for material, that there will be environmental impacts, and some of them can be very, very visible. The river being brown, being dirty, the causeways being muddy, but we are mindful that we are doing this development, mindful that we can do the mitigation methods. No one remembers this space after 1979 because the forest took over. The developers at the time backfilled this entire space, and that's why this soil is very, very loose, and we forgot that it was an active quarry for some time, because a secondary forest took over. In the same way, we're moving forward to ensure that the work that we do from the Ministry of Environment and Forestry in particular will rehabilitate this entire space. So we speak into terracing, we speak into using the endemic species in that space to reforest that space, and it is very important that we do this. We are very mindful that the public outcry is important, and we have to speak to this thing that is important as citizens of our country to question what is happening within our space. But we're also very, very happy and very delighted to tell folks that we are doing those measures to ensure that the integrity of this space can be sustained for future generations.
Also addressing the media was Jaisiah Benoit, project manager, who provided technical details on the ongoing works and the mitigation strategies being implemented on the ground.
Specific mitigation measures that have been implemented on site thus far. To start with the retaining wall. Bearing in mind, geotechnical studies were done, and based on the results, it was found that the site would be unsafe for the equipment and personnel without the establishment of the retaining wall. So the retaining wall firstly serves that function in terms of safety of personnel, equipment, and installations. Secondarily, the retaining wall also serves to complement our on-site drainage system in controlling the number of discharge points to 2 points, okay, that you can observe through the 2 culverts leaving the wall. These culverts, of course, join onto culverts located on the main road and then flow along the natural drainage course into the riparian zone. You'll observe that to mitigate against any potential sedimentation or turbidity increase in the riparian zone, on site we have established 3 sedimentation ponds that have been concreted recently. The function of the sedimentation pond is to remove any sediment within the surface flow before it enters the riparian zone. It will do so through 2 several functions. Firstly, through reducing the velocity of the water, and secondly, through trapping the sediment. So we reduce the velocity, we trap the sediment, we reduce the turbidity, we improve the clarity of the water, of course in keeping with the tourism product that Concord is known for. So you can look to the retaining wall, you can look to the establishment of the 3 sedimentation ponds and the concreting of on-site drains, thereby establishing the on-site drainage system as some key measures in terms of protecting our riparian zone. Now, to mitigate against the activity of the trekking of mud onto the roadway, which will make the road very unsafe for motorists and pedestrians alike, you can observe to my rear, we have the establishment of a wheel wash bay. It is designed in a somewhat concave manner, such that the trucks will enter this area, they'll be washed, and any dirt, mud, or particulate matter, fines, etc., will be washed out and then transported to the sedimentation pond so that they can be trapped, and then we'll have a clear flow entering the drainage system.
Officials from the Forestry Division also shared brief remarks, highlighting monitoring efforts and safeguards to protect surrounding ecosystems.
To date, the activities of the Forestry Division have been focused on runoff erosion, reducing erosion, runoff and sedimentation, and visual impact of the quarry. The quarry boundaries with the Northern Forest Reserve at the top, and to date there's a buffer zone which is 50 meters. So we provide a 50-meter buffer zone between the quarry and the forest reserve. We have given technical advice to the developers with the implementation of sediment ponds to be done on site. We have also given the specific measurements for the sediment ponds, which is minimum 2 meters wide and 3 meters deep. This enables for easy access, easy cleaning access of the sediment ponds. Also, it was advised to the developers regular maintenance be done of the sediment ponds, that is to remove the sediments, the silt, in a timely manner. We cannot give a specific timeline as to say perhaps 2 weeks to remove the sediment, but with frequent monitoring, the sediments will be cleaned.
The 2026 law year has officially opened in Dominica on Sunday with a church service at the Fatima Catholic Church in Newtown, followed on Monday by a procession to the conference room of the State House for a special sitting. The acting Chief Justice, Her Ladyship the Honorable Madam Margaret Price Finlay, will deliver the feature address appearing live in the other 8 OECS territories.
In recognition of that legacy today, I wish to focus on the enduring spirit of the ECSC, one that has remained steeped in the principles that underpin justice. It is therefore fitting that the theme for this year's observance of the ceremonial opening of the law year is the ECSC, justice that endures, anchored in independence, strengthened through trust. This theme not only encapsulates the indomitable spirit of our great court and its unwavering protection of and adherence to the rule of law, but also it reinforces the integral and symbiotic relationship between the judiciary and the public, affirming that the integrity of our justice system is sustained not in isolation, but through institutional responsibility bolstered by public trust.
Her Ladyship stressed the importance of maintaining safeguards that allow for an independent judiciary.
When we speak of judicial independence, it is commonplace to focus on the more visible mechanisms designed to insulate judges from external pressures, whether arising from the government, the public, or private interests, in order to secure impartial and principled decision-making. These mechanisms include constitutional guarantees of an independent and impartial judiciary, institutionally distinct from the executive and legislative branches, security of tenure for judges, and safeguards relating to judicial remuneration, intended to preserve the judiciary from inappropriate financial influence. However, judicial independence is not static. It must be continually defended, actively exercised, and carefully preserved. And so, the judiciary's independence must also be sustained by the institutional frameworks and professional culture it cultivates. Frameworks designed to embed transparency, to ensure accountability, and to safeguard the proper administration of justice.
And that's all for local news this evening. Stay tuned for regional news coming up next.
We're at the different phases in life. We move at a different pace. All we need is to be supported. Cause when the baby's coming, business needs revamping, the new job's starting, and you need an outfit. Let momentum hook you up. Momentum will hook you up. The wedding is your support financing. Let momentum hook you up. Momentum will hook you up.
And now for regional news. The government of Grenada has signed an EC $229,500 grant agreement with the Grenada Development Bank to support climate-resilient agriculture across the country. The agreement, signed on January 9, 2026, will fund labor costs for installing shade houses on about 55 farms in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique under the GEF-funded Climate Resilient Agriculture Project. The initiative aims to strengthen farmers' resilience to climate change and boost food production during the projected dry periods. The project will also provide training and employment opportunities for students and tutors from T.A. Marichaud Community College and the New Life organization, which will be involved in installing the shade houses. And also in regional news, Grenada's Prime Minister, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, met with St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Godwin. During the meeting, both leaders discussed areas of mutual collaboration and partnership aimed at strengthening ties between the two countries.
Prime Minister Mitchell, today is a very important day. You get to meet with Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday, Prime Minister St. Vincent and Grenadines. How important is meetings like this for creating collaboration and friendship amongst fellow Caribbean and OECS countries?
Well, thank you for the question. And again, let me express my appreciation to Dr. Friday for accommodating this visit at relatively short notice. It's very important to answer your question. First, I think as colleague Prime Ministers, we, in a sense, face the same challenges governing island developing states at a time of significant challenge. And I've talked whether it's geopolitical, whether it's climate, whether it's economic, all with a commitment to serving our people. Second, particularly in the case of Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we are as close as neighbors as you will ever get. And so that means, in a sense, more than anybody else, we share unique history, unique culture, and particularly a unique marine space. And so it's important for us to get to know each other, for us to build the trust, the camaraderie, and for us to share experiences in terms of governance, in terms of the challenges we face and what we will meet. And nothing beats a personal sit-down. I know there's a lot of technology, but the reality is trust could only be built by working together, by going through the difficulties together, by sometimes having disagreements together. But at the end of the day, all with a commitment to serving our people and serving the region together. So it's very, very important.
And that's all for regional news. Stay tuned for international news coming up next. And now for international news. President Donald Trump has urged Iranian anti-government protesters to keep protesting, saying that help is on its way. His comments come as the White House considers possible U.S. intervention, with Trump's national security team expected to meet later to discuss options. Iranians who have managed to contact relatives abroad describe widespread death and destruction, though an ongoing internet blackout has made it difficult to verify information from inside the country. Meanwhile, human rights groups say at least one protester, Irfan Sultani, is expected to be executed as early as tomorrow, calling the speed of the case unprecedented. The situation remains volatile as international concern continues to grow. The largest nurses' strike in New York City history began Monday after contract talks between the New York State Nurses Association, NYSNA, and hospital officials failed to reach an agreement. Nearly 15,000 nurses walked off the job at Mount Sinai hospitals, Montefiore, and New York Presbyterian, citing concerns over staffing levels, pay, benefits, and workplace safety. NYSNA President Nancy Higgins accused hospital executives of prioritizing profits over patient and nurse safety. Hospitals say they are prepared to continue operations using replacement nurses and confirmed that emergency departments remain open, with most appointments proceeding as scheduled. Mount Sinai stated it has deployed more than 14,000 temporary nurses and activated contingency plans to manage patient care. Governor Kathy Hochul declared a state of emergency ahead of the strike and urged both sides to return to negotiations. Several political leaders, including New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani and Attorney General Letitia James, publicly voiced support for the nurses, calling for fair treatment and safe working conditions. Labor talks remain stalled, and hospital officials say they are prepared for the strike to continue indefinitely. And finally, President Donald Trump on Monday warned that any country continuing to do business with Iran could face a 25% tariff on all trade with the United States, citing Tehran's violent crackdown on expanding anti-government protests. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said the measure would take effect immediately, stating that nations engaging commercially with the Islamic Republic of Iran would be subject to the tariff on all U.S. business, calling the decision final. And that's all for international news. Stay tuned for the sports segment coming up next. And now for the sports segment. Cricket West Indies has named a 16-member squad for the 3-match T20 International Series against Afghanistan, set for January 19 to 22 at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium in the UAE. Brandon King will lead the team in the absence of regular T20 captain Shea Hope, who is unavailable due to SA20 commitments, along with Roston Chase, Akil Hossain, and Shafan Rutherford. Jason Holder, Rothman Powell, and Romario Shepherd have been rested. Shama Joseph and Evan Lewis returned to the squad after recovering from injury, while Quentin Sampson has earned his maiden international call-up following his standout performance in the 2025 Caribbean Premier League. The series forms a key part of West Indies' preparation for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup, which begins on February 6. Head coach Darren Sammy says the matches will help reintegrate returning players and assess squad depth ahead of the final World Cup selection. The team departs the Caribbean on January 14 and arrives in the UAE on January 16. The Castlebrook Secondary School moved joint top of the standings with Dominica Grammar School on 12 points, with one game remaining in the under-17 division of the Sports Division Secondary Schools football competition. Castlebrook secured the top spot after a dominant 5-0 victory over St. Mary's Academy in Newtown on Monday, January 12, 2026. Goals for Castlebrook came from Taran George, Anthony Scotland, Asaf Banis, Alistair Barry, and Shaquan Gustav. Dominican international referee Julian Serafin has been appointed to officiate at the 25th Central American and Caribbean CAC Games in beach volleyball, set for July 23 to 30, 2026, in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Another major milestone in his distinguished officiating career. Serafin began his journey at the grassroots level and steadily progressed through the ranks after being nominated by the Dominica Amateur Volleyball Association in 2012 to attend a beach volleyball referee course in Santo Domingo. Since then, he has served as a continental referee at numerous NOSECA and ECVA tournaments across the Caribbean and the Americas, including assignments in Cuba and Colombia. An FIVB International Beach Volleyball referee since 2014, Serafin has officiated at several high-profile global events, including the Commonwealth Games in Australia and England, the Commonwealth Youth Games in Trinidad and Tobago, the Under-21 World Championships in Mexico, and the FISU Games in Germany. A former Dominican national player and past executive member of the Dominica Amateur Volleyball Association, Serafin remains deeply committed to the sport. He continues to support volleyball development through youth coaching at the R&D Club while pursuing ongoing professional development to uphold the high standards of officiating at the international level. And that's all for the sports segment. Stay tuned for the weather report from the Dominica Met Service. And this brings us to the end of tonight's news broadcast for the 13th of January 2026. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis. On behalf of the entire newscast, we say thank you for viewing. This is Emo Nightly News, every moment online. Good night.